the notes, the written notes from Ash being on the webinar last night are in your OFounders back office under the updates section, written by our fantastic quartet, and they got it out really, really quick. The very precise notes I've taken. Now, I'm obviously not going to go through the whole of those notes because they are extensive, a lot of questions. And I think for the best part, our CEO did his very best to be able to give us some very honest answers. There was obviously areas that he couldn't talk about, mainly because the solutions haven't been finalized. And also there was questions about products and other areas. Again, he can't divulge all that type of information. But one thing's for sure is it was a really big insight, in my opinion, last night that our CEO gave us about what was going on and how the company has gone. And Tanya's just reminded me in the chat there as well, the recording of last night is going to be on in around about 2 hours time on over 20 channels, including this one. So if you want to spend a few hours listening to it or you missed it, then pop over to any of those channels and it will be streaming there for you to listen in. Now, the first part of last night really was all about how OnPassive's journey has been evolving. And at a very early age of the business, Ash really did recognize that things really weren't going according to his plan. Call it naivety, call it trust, call it, I don't know, things just weren't how he wanted it to go. And a lot of this was down to he perceived that the people who were coming into OnPassive from the users, founders point of view, and also the people who were working on the other side, employees of OnPassive, would all have the similar kind of mindset that he has as far as this business is concerned. Well, quite frankly, he couldn't be further away from the truth. And from very early on, there was a lot of sabotaging going on, mainly due down to exploitation, greed, other factors like this. So he was telling us about the story of how he's had to overcome so many different things, and it really has helped him because it happened so early on that he's learned a lot of lessons, and because of the lessons he's learned, now he has very much a different approach to people. That is from users' point of view, founders' point of view, and also especially from his employees' point of view. A lot of people he's had to let go because they really haven't made the grade of what he is expecting. But one thing he's also done as well is he decided that he couldn't put all his OnPassive eggs all in one basket. And what he did was he started working things alongside what is already there and implemented. And a lot of this was to do with bringing people in separately to different locations, using their experience within the sectors, because he's learned a little bit more every single time. And as it's transpired, he called this phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And he said, as it's transpired, phase 2 and 3 have almost overtaken what was the very first phase. And it was very interesting to listen to him talking about this, because it gave us from this end a very good insight into behind the scenes a little bit about what has been going on, about the negativity and really corruption that is going on from all sides, to be absolutely honest. You couldn't make it up, could you, that people within the company, people externally from the company, people who are founders, all of these combinations were all trying to drag OnPassive down and make us not succeed. it certainly has taught him a lot of life lessons in business, and also to do with people. And I think it's done him and the company and us a lot of favors, in all honesty, because if this had happened further on down the line, he might have been too into or too far in a project that he couldn't diversify into another area. There were some great questions that were asked, that's for sure. They're very well explained in the notes of what it was. If you are a person who's on here and want to know about payments, bulk payments, commissions, etc., they're all in the notes. He gave his best objective answers to them, and I keep reverting back to the same thing of what I'm saying, is that you cannot have one without the other. And what do I mean by this is you cannot have a commercially paid product that you are able to purchase if the money that's flowing in is not flowing out as well. And I'm sure this is the game plan of OnPassive, is to make sure that this two-way street of money going in and money going out is as bulletproof as they can make it, and as efficient as they can possibly make it before they start releasing more paid products. It was also very interesting to hear about OConnect and about how I got the impression, I don't know if you guys will agree with me here, but I certainly got the impression that the new version of OConnect that we are going to see has been produced and made by a completely different head of technicians than the old one was. Now, I might be completely wrong. This is just my opinion from what I was kind of listening to. That's the kind of impression I got, that the new one that's coming in from a different source or a different department, okay, is not the original ones that we, or not the original one we saw and being produced by the original ones we saw. Now, again, it was also really interesting to listen to Ash talking about the different departments. And again, I was picking up on all of these different departments are actually their own businesses in their own right. Are they all directed towards OnPassive? Yes, 100% they are. But I believe they are standalone businesses in their own right. And who the name on the top of the sheet is concerned, it really does not matter, because what he's doing there is, again, not putting all his eggs in the OnPassive basket. He's making sure that by having separate off companies from OnPassive, that makes it a much more secure environment, because each individual organization, company, whatever you want to call it, their focus is on what they are doing. When you bring it into the fold of the whole of OnPassive, then you get sidetracked. People get sidetracked or get dragged into doing other jobs or whatever it may be. And so their focus then gets taken away from what their project is. And that is the business that they are. Call it OConnect, call it OTracker, maybe, I don't know. But that's the kind of strategy that I felt from what he was saying that he's had to adjust to because of the problems he's had. And there was I think there was a lot of pressure from a lot of areas, and he really needed to set something else up outside of OnPassive, get that going, get that up to speed, make sure that is working before he could then address what was happening internally as far as OnPassive, the company, was concerned. So it was really interesting, wasn't it, in my opinion, to listen to that part. And for me, that was actually more informative than the questions that people are asking to Ash Mufareh. Yes, don't get me wrong, these are all pertinent questions that we want to know about, but they are only basically, yes, it's going to be happening, no, it's not going to be happening, it's in the pipeline, all these kind of replies. And for me, the big information, the really big information, was the whys and the hows of where we are right now. And if you listen to it and take that part on board and allow it to sink in and think about it, then the OnPassive journey picture becomes a lot clearer, because you can, if you are a person that's been engaged throughout the journey of your time with us, then you will, you know yourself of different scenarios of different things that have happened. Call them delays, call them glitches, call them whatever you want to adhere to. Then, bar the third party ones that he has zero control over, the other ones make a lot of sense. You know, it's very easy for people to say, yes, don't worry, we've got it, it's going to be ready, and all the rest of it. How many times have you been in those types of scenarios where people agree to you, they're in front of you, they are saying yes, yes, no problem, we've got it, blah, blah, blah. And then in reality, you're 6 weeks down the line, where is it? It's all gone to rat shit because they haven't come up with the goods. And then where are you left? I think this has happened a few times as far as OnPassive, the company, is concerned. And I do believe, reading between the lines of what Ash was saying yesterday, that he'd been forced because of what has been happening, and because he wants to protect the company and make sure that the goals of what he wants for the company and for us are achieved, then he's had to go down this different route. And as actually it's happened, this has been an absolute blessing in disguise, because sometimes in life, when you get forced down different avenues and different roads, they end up being better. And I certainly got the impression that from him last night, that these different roads that he's been forced down because of things out of his control or what other people have done, etc., then it really has made it better scenario for us. Why? Because he said last night, these different avenues, the productivity is better, the products are better, and they're cheaper, you know. And when you start taking this on board and you're looking at the big picture, you're thinking, actually, what a genius move it was for him to do that. Now, I don't really know how he sleeps at night, to be honest, because his brain and thinking must be going 10 to the dozen 24/7 to try and work out scenarios, sort problems out, and all the rest of it, and really be like a chess player of trying to be 4, 5, 10 steps ahead of the game, so that you are going to be the winner in the end. Now, having to think of all these scenarios and different equations all of the time, it's pretty hard to sleep, isn't it? Because your brain is going all over the place. But for me, it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it, even though I was a little bit sleepy, a little bit tired, but very, very interesting. So I do recommend, especially that first half when Ash came on. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't listened to it, then please go and listen to it on any of the YouTube channels that are going to be coming up in a couple of hours' time. It really is insightful. It really... that's not the right word. Insightful, maybe, I don't know. It really was, for me, a good look behind the OnPassive curtains. One thing's for sure, everything that he was saying, all of the things that he has been saying, are going to happen this year. And that, for me, really is heartwarming. It really is giving me a lot of confidence. Obviously, people are still going to be saying, what about bonuses? What about this and all the rest of it? Absolutely fine. And Ash actually did say himself, if he was one of us, he would have the same questions. He said it's only natural that we have these concerns, questions, whatever it may be. But what he did say to us was, we've got this, guys. Do not worry. Okay. It's even better than what you think. I know what I said before, and I know I'm saying it again, but let us do what we need to do. And he said, all this will be history. He said, you are going to be amazed. And when he's talking in this manner, for me, it really is great to listen to, because we all need a pickup, don't we? We all need that reassurance. We all need to know that we're going to be okay. And when you have the CEO who's coming out, recognizing our concerns, not disagreeing with us, actually agreeing that, yes, I would probably have these as well. Irina Steksala, thank you so much for your super sticker. That is really, really kind. I do appreciate it. Honestly, I do. But when you have these, your CEO actually saying, I agree with you, but I've got this. All right. I everything I am doing, I'm doing for you guys, to make you the winners, to make you the heroes, to make and change your lives. That gives me confidence. That gives me my security in knowledge that I need. That's all I need. Do we need the money? Goes without saying. Everybody does. You can't have one without the other. You cannot have the security of your family, the security of living and all the rest of it without money. You know, I mean, it's and it's getting harder and harder. Things are getting more and more expensive. But when you've got the CEO saying, that's not going to be a problem, we've got this sorted for you, all I'm trying to do is to make sure that you're going to have the best of the best, and I have a high bar. He was talking about this last night, about there's one product, which was the virtual background and video. 2 years they've been working on it. 2 years. He said, yes, I could use a third-party company. I could bring it in. They could give me their stock, and we could have it out on OConnect, and you could use it. But it's not good enough. It's not a good enough quality. Is it a good enough quality for 100 people on a webinar? Absolutely, he said. Is it good enough for 1,000 people on a webinar? Starting to get a bit grainy. 10,000, not good at all. And then he said, what about if there's 1 million people on a webinar watching, for instance, a festival or music or games or sporting events or whatever, and they are all using virtual backgrounds? It wouldn't be possible. And for him, only the best will do. This is why, as well, that he talked about revamping from scratch, not from scratch, but certainly revamping from a very low level, tools and products that we are already using. He mentioned ONet. I'm really pleased about that, because in its current state, it's not something that's going to attract the masses from other social media. So he recognizes and knows that, and that's getting addressed. He talked about OMail. That is going to get redesigned, redone. Again, we all know that. Does it work? Yes, it does. Is it something that somebody out externally using Gmail or whoever they're using now going to flock into in its current state? No, it's not. And this is exactly how businesses evolve and move forward, by recognizing where the consumer ship is. Now, you can never, ever, obviously you think you know what the consumers are going to like and how they're going to use things, but it's only the usage by a consumer that is going to give you those kind of statistics. And it was really interesting to recognize that some things that we produced just aren't up to scratch. And obviously his bar now has got higher and higher and higher in exactly what he is looking for. Whereas before he would tell us what new products are coming out, what they're working on, and he should be with us shortly, all the rest of it. He's learned by those mistakes. It doesn't do us, the user, any favor. But one thing's for sure, it certainly does not do externally any favor either, because people pick up on it. They might even steal products. He told us about this, about people actually stealing coding of our products and actually setting up other companies because they have stolen code and product workings from the business because they'd been working on it. So for me, it was an excellent webinar, a really good look behind the scenes. And I know this is a recap, but for me, the best recap part of it I can give you is the insight into the business, the insight into a little bit of Mufareh, but more so in the whys and the reasons behind the whys of what has happened. Questions and answers, they're there on the written recap in your back office. You can go and read them. The answers are there. What I do know is we cannot thank him enough for being in this company. There's plenty who don't agree with me. I get that. That is your prerogative. That is entirely up to you. For me, I know where my home is, and it is OnPassive. And as far as I'm concerned, it always will be. I know that I've got a CEO who has got my back, who is doing everything within his heart, what's the word I'm looking? He's trying to do everything within his power. That's the word I'm looking for, to make it good for us. Walt McLaren, thank you for your super sticker, and Colonel Daniel Lee. It's very kind of you guys. It really, really is. And when you've got a CEO who is doing everything in their power for the benefit of us, you know, nobody's, that for me will do. So that is why I'm in OnPassive. That's why I was excited about last night, because I really, really now understand more about the journey than I ever did.